Hey guys, this is Some Lego Maniac with another custom minifigure showcase video. And for this, I want to start off with this Phantom Menace custom minifigs. So this has been a very long project of mine. I'm still kind of continuing it because what I wanted to do, I wanted to make at least 6 figures for each Skywalker saga film. And for this, I wanted to start with like the prequel trilogy because I think it'll be, I think it makes sense to start from episode 1 and going and leading up to episode 9. And for this, I wanted to make sure each trilogy at least has the core main characters and villain. So yeah, so I decided to pick maybe like 6 off the top of my head who I think would be best in there. Now I think the sequel trilogy would be a bit longer. I don't think I can figure out 6 characters because there's so many characters in that. But I made out a list of what I think would be really cool to show. Now you've already seen these 2 figures before, and that's Anakin and Obi-Wan. I did that I think a couple years ago when I finished these figures because I wanted to post something for May 4th, and that was something that I had to show. Now these figures have been done for at least 2 years almost, but because of school, I rarely upload anything. So yeah, and I figured this would be a good time to show it. So sorry for lack of content for minifigs and lately. It's just after I graduated, I also started my full-time job as well. I am an industrial designer at East Point Sports, which is really fun. I really like it there. People are very kind there, and yeah, I'm glad that they're able to hire me and stuff. So I'm just more focused on my life, my new job, and the other things when going on in my personal life, that there might be times that I just won't upload videos for a very long time. In fact, before I re-uploaded the Jackson video or the Bad Batch, the last time I ever posted something was over a year, which is the longest break I ever had in this channel. So yeah, enough rambling. I want to just continue with the video. I'll still showcase Anakin and Obi-Wan because there were some little minor changes I've made, but nothing too big. I showcased this figure before, and that is my Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not much change I've made on this guy, except for the fact that I decided to color his hair orange. Now, I didn't color it orange before because it didn't really look that orange to me, but since I colored the rest of my Obi-Wan hair color, orange, I think it makes sense to just paint it orange. So that's exactly what I did. This figure, I finished this Jesus Christ, I don't even know how long. It feels like forever that I finished this figure. Well, yeah, I'm still proud of this figure. I think it holds up very well. And he still has that lightsaber function. I had to kind of glue his lightsaber because it kind of broke. You can see kind of the crack marks here, so I had to glue that back together. I might have to paint over it someday. So yeah, how I made this is if you guys remember that video, it was a Harry Potter 1 piece. And then I threw in some, the Lego rod, and I threw in some flex tube, and I threw in the antenna here, because I kind of want to make this kind of size accurate. Other people, they have the hilts bulging out, with the Skywalker saber, which makes sense because trying to make this exactly a bar thin would be very difficult. But I wanted to try my own way of making lightsabers. So, and this still has the magnet function. I accidentally dropped the whole lightsaber, so I'm going to have to edit that out. But yeah, this thing I think it still has a magnet function. So how it works is, this is actually a little tiny magnet. I think it's a millimeter long, and I put in and I sculpted, and I glued a wire on his belt, and I sculpted over it. So it should connect. Oh, there we go. Yeah, because that was going to be my plan for Jedi figures. I thought it would be a really cool idea, but unfortunately, I mean, as neat of an idea it's way too bulky, and it's really not that necessary in my opinion. So I just stopped doing that. I stopped caring about putting, attaching magnets on it. I think I got that idea because if you guys remember my last Jedi video, that was ages ago. I forgot that video exists, by the way, and I forgot I made figures from that. I sculpted a loop on them so you can attach them. But and I guess that's why I thought, oh, magnets would be a cool idea because not a lot of people are doing that. Maybe I could be the first one to do it. And I was the first one to do it, but I didn't continue on that trend because I just don't think it's that necessary. Not much change has been done on Little Annie as well, except for the fact that I actually bought Anakin face because it was pretty cheap on Bricklink. When I was doing some bulk orders, I decided to buy it, and plus I can use the old painted Annie face that I had. and use it for someone else. And the face I painted was pretty much like a copy of this because I didn't really feel like buying it back then. But now that I have it, I figure why not use it. The only thing I gave for Andy was it's pretty much his pod racing goggles, his helmet. What I did, I just pretty much got the pilot helmet, cut it up, glued it onto the the pilot headpiece. And these sides, I think they were from there were some Lego piece. I forgot what Lego piece this is. Again, I made this helmet like a year or two ago, so I don't quite remember. I think they're like Lego studs. I think that's what I got it from. So yeah. So what you can do, just give him the helmet. Though I cannot press it all the way down, or else it's just gonna cover his entire mouth. So I kind of have to like suspend it like that. So yeah. So there we have Anakin and his pod racing helmet. And it was a very simple thing to make. It wasn't that hard. I thought I should give him something because he didn't have accessories last time. So yeah, that's pretty much it for our little Anakin. Not much. Next we have our master Qui-Gon. I believe I finished this figure back in 2019 because I think I remember I put this in my top 10 favorite figures that I made in 2019. And this was during the time when I was starting the toy design program, so I wasn't able to make a lot of minifigs. But Qui-Gon I was able to make because I think he inspired the entire project that I wanted to do. Because I was really interested on making his lightsaber. I guess we can go over that. His lightsaber is very, very unique, and I wanted to capture that. So this was a lot of planning to do, and it was really tricky. So how I was able to do is I think I got like a brick arms gun piece. I love these grooves here. So what I did, I cut that off exactly in half, and I got a random Lego rod piece, and I cut a little section out. And that was really tricky because cutting it out in this angle is very tricky enough. I mean, it's still not perfect. You can kind of see little cracks, and it's kind of raised a little bit, but I don't mind it after all in the end. So after doing that, I have to file it and try and make it as straight as possible, and then I glue that piece in. And then what I did next, I also cut like another groove piece. I forgot where this one's from. It's probably some sort of like a Lego sword or something like that. And I cut it at an angle. And then I glued an antenna piece on top, and then added this flex tube. And the flex tube is there, so that way it looks like it's streamlined with the blade. And then if I take the blade out, there you can see the antenna piece. So yeah, making this lightsaber was very, very challenging. Probably the most challenging part of making this figure, but it worked after all. And these little buttons here, that was like dry sculpted with Procreate. And yeah. So there you have a fully accurate Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber, and nobody has done this before for their Qui-Gon figure, and I'm glad that I was able to do it first. So yeah, and I'm glad that people liked this lightsaber too when I posted it on Instagram and when I talked about it. Making lightsabers like this is something I want to do in person. I know Nate and Aaron, they collab together to make like really accurate looking lightsabers for you guys, and I think they look awesome. I just prefer making things by hand because I just think it's special that way. But I'm glad that other people can no longer have to go through that process, and they could just buy it. Like, I think that's so useful for 3D printing, that they provide a gateway for easy customization for everyone. And I think that's something that not a lot of people truly appreciate, because they think, oh, it's everyone's figures are going to look the same. Who the fuck cares? Like, it's a great tool for people to get into customizing. And I think if I were to 3D print this and model this and sell it, I'd be happy to. Like, that'd be awesome. And I know a lot of people would want that too. So yeah. I know that I just rambled here and there. I just figured I wouldn't say it because there's some people in the community who look down on 3D prints, and I'm just tired of it. They're so useful, and it makes customizing enjoyable for almost everyone. And I think we have to be more inclusive, in my opinion. So yeah, moving on to the figure. Again, I started to ramble. Qui-Gon Jinn hairpiece, pretty standard. And the space, I actually fully painted this. I didn't have a Qui-Gon Jinn head, so I decided to just paint my own because I was a poor college student, so I had to work with what I got. So I tried to copy Lego, and I think I did it fairly well. It looks really accurate to what Lego does. And the way I made the robes is exactly what I did for ObiWan, but I actually did a messy job because these cloth pieces are a bit lower. Then I realized why it was like that. These cloth pieces are actually glued under the belt, so that way it looks like it's streamlined, and I kind of fucked that up. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for Qui-Gon Jinn. He's a pretty cool character, yeah, and I like his lightsaber. Next figure we have is Darth Maul, and for Darth Maul, I went with something different with him. His face is entirely fully painted by me, and I did the same way that everyone's doing their Darth Maul nowadays. Completely sculpt over the stud and dry sculpt the horns. And that's what I did. And for his horns, I purposely made mine a lot spikier and not as, curved like, what Aaron does for his Darth Maul figures, because this is a Phantom Menace version, and I kind of want to portray that really odd looking spikes that he has and not look like what he would have in the Clone Wars. And it kind of separates that from the TV series, which I do want to make Mandalore Maul at some point. That's definitely a figure I have in mind. So yeah, removing his lightsaber so you can see the rest of his detail. It's not much. It's just your standard black cloak. And he went some few design changes ever since back when I first posted him, and I posted an update later on. His lightsaber used to be different. His head used to be a little bit different too. His eyes weren't that great, so I had to repaint them again. And this time it looks better, in my opinion. It could be a bit better maybe, but I'm satisfied with it the way they are. And this belt piece used to be painted, but I decided to go with E-tape instead and wrap it around, because painting on E-tape, gray for example, is a nightmare. Not much to say about him. Now onto the lightsaber. This is I'm thinking maybe by Nate's and Aaron's lightsaber in the future, and probably adding magnets to it. This is one I made myself. What I did, I used an umbrella piece, and I went with a Lego, your standard Lego lightsaber, and then I went with a Lego lightsaber rod as well, and then I glued magnets at the end. And so what that does, and you can split them like that, so they're magnetically attached, so that way you can display him with just one lightsaber, and I think that looks really, really cool. Now, yeah, that's pretty much it for Maul. Not much to say. This figure was kind of a nightmare to make because the official Queen Amidala minifigure is really expensive on Bricklink. So instead of buying the entire figure, I decided to just buy the hairpiece, and I'll just do the rest myself. And I'm sure the purist in the LEGO community are going to hate my guts. If they do, literally go touch grass. I could care less about your feelings. So what I did for the hairpiece, the headpiece, I just simply painted the accurate colors on, the silver, the metallic red, just to make sure it's accurate. Because, when it comes to deco, there's so much you could do to print deco on a figure because it costs a lot of money, and it's so small as well. LEGO and other toy companies can't go in all that detail for such a small piece because it would just be too much. And for the head, I fully painted the head myself because I didn't want to spend $30 on this figure. And the rest of the figure, what I did, I used Cape Menace piece, this little cloth piece here, and I just cut up some capes. And I also got this long waist cape as well, because I think while the dress piece looks awesome, I think it makes Queen Amidala a bit too tall in my opinion, and I want to make sure she scales well with the rest of the minifigures, which is why I went with Cape Menace, and I sculpted all these little things here, and I also glued this black fabric around. And I think underneath she just has standard red legs because she's not gonna move. She can't move in a piece like this. So yeah, and I sculpted the sleeves. Nothing much to say about Queen Amidala, if I'm being honest. It's a really simple figure, but I think it's very effective. Oh boy, last but not least, it's Jar Jar. Now, I gotta be completely honest, I don't think I've ever seen a custom Lego Jar Jar in the community until I made one a few years ago, 2 years ago. And I know Aaron made his a year after, I think. But I haven't seen any Jar Jar customs, for a good reason. He's not a good character, but I just think it would be funny to add Jar Jar in the list of my Phantom figures lineup, because he's such a weird character. He's so stupid. And you know me, I make a lot of characters like these two, for example, that nobody asked for and put way too much effort into them. So I just thought I'm gonna do one for Jar Jar because literally I just want to troll. So he's really simple. I just got a Jar Jar head, which was provided by Sam's Figs, by the way. He provided me a lot of cool parts, so, and this was one of them. He was kind enough to give it to me. So I just painted over that, painted my own little like scales and stuff. I wanted to keep this figure simple. I don't want to go too far into detail or anything. So yeah, and then I extended his legs. I sculpted toes. The reason why I sculpted toes is because I know it will give people nightmares, and that's the whole point. This figure is a nightmare fetish. And I also extended his arm, and I painted these little scales as well. So and I gave him some Cape Mana stuff. Again, I just wanted to keep this figure simple, but still put enough effort for people to question me. That's it for Jar Jar. I don't want to go into anything else. Ooh, maybe I could give him some weapons. That's something I haven't considered. I will probably go back into this figure and give him some Gungan weapons. I think that would be really cool. Alright, that's all. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you're new, please subscribe. This is a type of, like, again, like what I've done in the past, this is the type of format I'm going to go with. Just unedited rambles of my minifigs. I used to like make, like, you know, edited showcase videos so that I spend less time on them and make them quick and easy to digest. But because editing videos takes a long time compared to taking photos and uploading on Instagram, I think this is the best way for me to just like pump out content this way. It is low effort, but hey, I don't care. I just want to get the thing out there, and I do not care how it's presented. If I really were to care about like how my content is presented, that would be like a different type of video. Like a video I'm thinking of making addressing toxicity in the toy community. I want to make sure that video is highly edited, but that's going to take like months to make because of my time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Next video, I don't know what I'll showcase. Maybe I'll do the Marvel Phase 2 villains, because I know some of you guys have been dying to see them for a very, very, very long time if you have been following me on Instagram. Yeah, those figures have been done for nearly 3 years, I think. And I think it's about time to get them out of the way and move on. So yeah, that's all. Thank you guys so much for watching. And continue to support my channel despite how much I neglect my channel for a very, very, very long time. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.